Hi guys, Johnny Mnemonic here, and this time we take a look on rigging, character, skin modifier, and stuff like that. Now I try to give a definite explanation and how stuff works, because everybody is teaching like yeah, do the envelopes and envelopes, but they never work, you know. So there's something wrong with that. So yeah, I try to, you know, just show you how to actually do it and how each bone affects each part of the model. So let's assume you have a mesh. Now there is a free rigged model in freebies and giveaway section on my channel, so you can download that and you know, remove the biped and rig it, you know, again, do it yourself and do it better, or just work it into perfection. So that's it, you know. So I mean, with rigging, of course, the principle is very basic and always the same. You have to, you know, create bone structure for the mesh, and it counts for anything like spider and stuff like that. Now biped obviously is just a bipedal creature like human, but the uric spider, uric fly, uric everything, using the same principle, build a structure that is most corresponding to what you are actually rigging, and then apply skin modifier. If you rig with character animation tools, CAT, which I think is natively in Max 13, principle is just the same. Do the bone structure, then apply skin or physique modifier. Now I'm not keen on using physique modifier. Skin works better for me, so that's it. So I got this mesh. It's a very nice clean mesh. As you can see, it's not that dense. It only has 13k polys, so you can turbo smooth it, you know, to yeah. But this is a very cool mesh consisting of quads. Now always, of course, when you're rigging, you have to also look at your meshes. I show you one example of, I was rigging heavy muscular, you know, guy, which can explain the principle even more a little bit. Okay, so this guy here is really muscular, and yeah, of course, muscles, since a skin modifier doesn't deal with the, you know, collision of the muscles or anything like that. It adds a problem for you, but yeah, this one is just like kind of so. It's of course this is not perfect. I mean, it's not gonna be. What I try to say is you have to always rig. You have to always ask yourself for what purpose you need this character. So let's say it's always good, I mean, creating universal rig that will work with all your motion capture, that's impossible. Okay, uh, you will always have to adjust, you know, depending on a situation. So let's say you got a shot, camera shot, where guy, for example, does this, you know. Of course, so for some motions or movements, the rig might be okay, but you have to adjust it for some. So let's say I got some definite weirdness here in the shoulder. So, and since this guy is so muscular, I will have to, of course, modify it, you know, work it out, like here, you know. Yeah, it's a really nasty mess, actually. So yeah, so let's jump ahead and try to you know, explain it on some mesh that is actually clean and not so heavily muscled. Okay, so let's assume you have a nice clean mesh in T-pose. Now you don't have to worry about so much about you know, the pose. If it's like geometrically precise, yeah, that's not the issue. I'll give you one more example. Now even this guy, or okay, that's not the guy. Even this guy could probably be rigged, even though there is no T-pose. He's just not there. Okay, so what you would do is just adjust the biped into this pose. Okay, so the position of the mesh that's not always the problem, but hey, if you got some nice mesh like this one, this guy, and it's not in T-pose, rigging is possibility. Now it's not gonna be perfect, but hey, it is possible. You just maybe you would have to deal with this, like this thing, and yeah, so I hope you get the idea. So T-pose doesn't save the day always, but of course it's always better. And to make important decisions like why am I rigging this guy, and what does he have to do, okay? If he's only be walking, you know, you don't have to screw around with that so much. But if he's doing some complex motion, it is good to rig him, apply the motion, the animation, and then as you go along, adjust the skin. It's a very, you know, time-taking work, and it's very intense, and it's probably one of the most annoying and painful things you can do in 3D. Okay, so this guy is already rigged, so I just show you. It's kind of right, the skin is responding, but I got some definite weirdness here. Now, like I said, since creating universal rig is impossible, you just do it so, and after you apply animation, like if, for example, throw and catch, like motion capture, of course. Now biped is good for this. There are a lot of motion capture files you can search out for free for biped, which often, you know, makes biped the preference instead of character animation tools. Of course, character animations is something very complex, and you have to learn that for years, and it's very intense. It's I mean, true character professionals only do that, you know, nothing else. They just animate. You got rigging artists for rigs, you know, and stuff like that. So you have to be aware of that, you know. Okay, so I just make this with Alt X, I make this see-through. Now what you need to do is align your biped so it corresponds with your mesh. And again, it doesn't have to be Nazi precise. It just has to, you know, especially in the joints. I remember I was struggling, like I don't know when I was learning this, because no tutorial told me that you know, what happens in the few next steps. So if I make a mistake, let's say in creating skeleton, how would it affect, you know, my rigging further on? So I can assure you, this is not the key. The skin is usually the key, not the bone. You have to just align it, you know, and think about it. Like, of course, there is a figure mode button. You always rig in figure mode. That way, you can move, you know, some stuff like this. Okay, you can freely move it in figure mode, and that's another thing, you know. You apply animation and you realize, for example, that neck is twisting like so, like some weirdness. So you just with the animation applied, you just go into figure mode, and you can adjust it, you know. You can adjust the neck so it's kind of right. Then go back, you know, adjust more, like until you go crazy. and that's what it's about. Of course, the way you do it, way you do biped. Okay, so uh, let's do this. Okay, so let's start rigging this sucker. Sucker, sucker, oh, sucker. Okay, systems biped. Now, like I said, it's not about the skeleton so much. It's more about the skin. But hey, okay, let's go into figure mode. After you create the biped, go to structure, and there you can adjust it with precision. So make it as high as this guy, like I don't know, 185, yeah. And then yeah, it's gonna be orgy of hiding, you know, and unhiding stuff. So then drag it, align it to the mesh where it is, like align it in the center. I just show you the first few steps. I mean, there's no point in, you know, messing around with this, like just the principle. So now I got like pelvis, like so, and this part is really easy, like trust me. And okay, so I can see now, hey, the pelvis is like kind of weird. Okay, I can freeze this, so I can click the biped. Okay, so I got an issue here, like, hey, this is not right. So I go to scale tool and just drag it on the top, on the tip of the x-axis. Okay, not x, probably not y. Okay, and this way you just make it wider. It's that simple, you know. There are no like secrets or whatever. It's just drag, but you have to, you know, drag it on the tip. So this will kind of solve your legs. Then go to spine link, do the same for all of them. Okay, and etc, do it like here to align the shoulders, and here with aligning shoulders there is no catch. You can actually drag the arm a little bit, and like I said, if it's just so it's probably good enough. Okay, and then you need to worry about the joints, you know, but yet the skin is quite forgiving. Then hide this thing here and drag it like so. Yeah, and once you have you can always like scale it, like play with it, like yeah, I can scale this one, not like this. Now this is not that important, I mean, to have it perfectly in this direction. So grab Z, like make it wider a little bit, like this, and don't worry about dragging this like little down. Okay, because yeah, it doesn't matter, you know, if the bone structure resembles human. I mean, copy human structure perfectly. It's all about the animation and what kind of animation you apply to it. So yeah, so that's how it works. Like, you play with this. I mean, I don't need to show you that, okay? So, and once you have one side of this arm, I'll just show you one easy trick on how to you know, mirror it. So you select all this and this, create collection, or you don't even have to create collection. You just copy posture and paste posture opposite. Hey, and there you go. And you do it like of course it only applies posture on your selection. So if you only select this and copy posture, paste posture opposite, yeah, it will paste posture opposite only on this object. So if you finished with one leg, you just copy, paste posture opposite like I did. Okay, let me show you it again on some better example. Then I copy posture, paste posture opposite. Yeah, this looks pretty funny. It would be funny if something like some creature like this existed, you know. You walk on these and you kick with these, whatever. So this is this is the rigging, this is the skeleton part. Okay, so align pelvis in a way that it, yeah, if pelvis ends somewhere like his crotch, that's okay. Just don't have to be Nazi, but just do it as precisely as you can, or as it is possible. Skin modifier can take care of a lot. Okay, so this is how you do. Just remember to paste posture opposites, and that's it. You know, there's no like secret trick about that. So I'm gonna switch back to Johnny that I rigged already, and now let's go ahead and explain the skin. Okay, so once you align all these bones and stuff like that, you go to modifier and apply skin here in this rollout. Now in the skin modifier you add bones, and if you add all bipedal bones, and skin modifier automatically recognizes that, you know, this is obviously spine, this is leg, one leg and another. It works like that. Of course, if you need to move like only the ankle, you don't need to, I mean, align all the biped. You just yeah, this is interesting. Let me yeah, I'll demonstrate that. Okay, so if the goal is only to make ankle twitching, you just align this foot and don't give a damn about the rest of the biped, and apply skin only and add only these bones. Okay, only fingers, this and this, and that way you animate the ankle and you don't need to worry about the rest. Yeah, if character is sitting somewhere and just wiggling feet, hey, why would you rig it all? You know, it's nonsense. It's why would you do that? Like adding pain and brain fuck into your life when it's not necessary. Okay, so let's go ahead and this is the key. Like envelopes, everybody, envelopes, envelopes, envelopes. It's bullshit, you know. You can never, you know, rig it properly with envelopes or only the envelopes. I show you what I mean. I remove the skin. Yeah, I could have readjusted, then apply it again and show you what it usually does. Then I add bones of my biped, like in this selection set. Yeah, highlight biped, Control A, select. Okay, they are there. And now what usually happens is this. Okay, this is always the issue, like here, always. I don't know why, but this happens always. So I leave the posture here. Now the goal is, now you need to somehow attach this, all these, into to a bone. So let's go ahead and demonstrate it. Now edit envelopes, obviously, and I'll explain you how this works. So if I select this bone, which is left left upper arm, now I see how this bone affects vertices. Okay, so what it means that I can now drag the envelope. Yeah, but this never works. I mean, it's okay, so it's just yeah, complete bullshit. What you need to do is adjust absolute effect of this bone onto these vertices. The way you do it is go down here, and there is this little thing called absolute effect. So go to vertices selection. That way you'll be able to adjust individual vertices. select left upper arm, and then you need to select some vertices which you want for them to be affected by this bone. Okay, again, I hope this is absolutely clear. If I select left upper arm, I know now that these vertices absolute effect of this bone on these one is around about 0.8 or whatever, and as the skin, you know, progresses, the absolute effect of this bone, I mean this bone, I know now that this bone affects even the neck and the back up until here. Let me show you. I can even create absolute effect of this bone even onto the foot. Okay, I select these and then I create absolute effect of these bones of left upper arm onto this foot. What it means that absolute effect of this bone onto these vertices is now like going larger and larger. Of course it's bullshit, you know. Left upper arm doesn't affect foot. I'm just showing you how this works and how you can adjust it. So we need to create more absolute effect because everything affects everything. If I go to the neck bone, neck now affects face and it affects these vertices highlighted in blue. Pelvis, I can see now, affects, you know, this up until here, and if it's messed up, you have to adjust the absolute effect. That's the good control over it. Okay, so if I now select, it's a little bit tricky, like painful and annoying, especially the selection of these vertices, so you have to really fiddle around. But hey, I select these and now create more absolute effect. Now never do it like to the highest positive value, because that would mean that these vertices will stick to the bone no matter what, you know. Like 0.98 seems like okay, because that will make them, you know, more elastic, and you don't cancel effect of other bones on these vertices too. So because I know that this spine link affects the hand as well, affect the upper arm as well, the way I can tell you is just find the spine, yeah, and you can see it. So this spine link affects the hand too, and I don't want that, you know. In this case, I don't want ass to affect arms, to tell it like, you know. So I create less absolute effect of the spine on the hand, which drags it even a little closer. Then I go back to the left upper arm and need to, yeah, and the envelopes, yeah, whatever. Don't worry about them. And now just, you know, create more absolute effect. Now you should fiddle with this, you know. You shouldn't do it like I'm doing it now, but hey, okay. And the hand is like kind of there, but you have to be aware of the elasticity. So as the hand progresses to the shoulder, create less absolute effect, less and less, you know, and so on and so on, because shoulder, okay, that's still affected by the hand. By the way, this selection thing, you can also subtract selection by holding Alt, and it will deselect, you know, the selection. So that's a little trick. Okay, so now it's kind of right. Of course it's not. This is not the way you fold. The skin is folded. Now if I click away from the skin and try what it does, yeah, it's kind of okay, but you will need to work this area. So let's do this. So let's go back to skin. Now this is really a back and forth game, okay? Back and forth, from behind, yeah, from the front, from behind, from the side, whatever. Yeah, I could say like fuck me from all sides. So that's the type of work this is, you know. So let's go ahead and do some more. Now, of course, this works for everything. Like I know these fingers, absolute effect of this bone onto the finger. This, that's too low. It will mean that if I drag this finger down there, it will drag these vertices with it, because this finger link, you know, the way it works, like, okay, this is default value, it's wrong. Now this is kind of right, but absolute effect of this link on these vertices, it's too low. So if I drag the thumb, these will go with them too, you know. I hope you get the point here. And as you, it's good to start rough, just doom doom doom, just, you know, do it like so the hand is there where it should be. And as you progress, you know, tweak it more and more. So let's say I want these, we have to go back to the upper arm again, left upper arm, here, and to create less absolute effect of this arm onto this vertex, back and forth, back and forth. So it drags him up, then again on this one, and this is, should be smooth. This should go from red to blue gradually. But sometimes you really have to think about if it's worth, you know, screwing around with it so much, or if it's not. Again, it depends on the type of animation you apply. So this is kind of right, you know. This is how the shoulder would probably behave. And yeah, do it like for all of these and gradually. Now, if you don't want this hand to affect neck so much, you just cancel absolute effect of this bone onto these vertices, which means on the neck and on the tits and stuff like that. And the same goes, you know, for every part of the body. So that's it. I believe I explained it. So that's how you rig it, you know. Then test it, apply some animation, go back and forth, get back and forth. Okay. Now, you don't have to be frustrated by it, because it will never be perfect, you know, so don't worry about it. Yeah, like, just think about what the character will be doing. Like, human motion is so complex that there is no sense in creating universal animation, okay? And if you're doing for game, something for game or whatever, they got their needs, but in-game character, they are usually only running and grabbing guns and stuff like that. So they are not doing some complex, you know, acrobatics or gymnastics. Okay, so that's how you do it. Now, I'll do the leg, just, or clavicle. Okay, so again, this means that this clavicle affects this shoulder in that much. So if I select this vertex, I can see now it has absolute effect of 0.34 onto clavicle, and I don't want this clavicle to affect this side of the body. That's not what would probably happen in reality. If I do, you know, it all will get pushed by this bone to its to it, you know, to that bone. So I disable absolute effect of clavicle on the face, and there you go. Okay, so this is, I can create less absolute effect on this biceps and even less on this shoulder, and test what it does. Go back and, you know, I do it for left clavicle. That's a little more convincing. Left, again, just search it, find it. Left upper arm. Yeah, this is really annoying. I'm like searching for it. I got it right. So, sometimes it doesn't make sense, like left and right. Okay, right upper arm. So I'm probably blind. Here it is. So this clavicle doesn't affect shoulder. It's kind of okay. I didn't want that, but it affects this side too much. So, and the face, like clavicle, your own clavicle affects neck and not face. So because it means that if I drag this clavicle in animation, the face will go with it. So that's not something you want. Okay. So I hope this has been helpful, that I explained something. Like, don't worry about the envelopes, just ignore them, because you know, it doesn't make too much sense, at least to me. Yeah, so absolute effect is the way that you can like tweak it. And don't worry, don't try to make it perfect, because or universal for every animation, because it will never be. If it's kind of right, then that should suffice. I can try. I mean, even this guy, you know, has some problems in the neck. Yeah, so I just show you. So yeah, it means that these vertices are too stiff, so the absolute effect of the head on these is probably too high. So yeah, you go back to skin and check it, like go to head, edit envelopes, vertices. Okay, yeah, so these are probably affected by head too much. So if I go down and reduce absolute effect of the head on these, they go smooth. Okay, so you understand it now. And sometimes you need to do vertex by vertex. So if you then go click anywhere on biped, motion tab, load, and load some animation, let's try some boxing map frames, if you got different frame rate, and just check what it does. Check for some weird interpenetrations. Yeah, and it's kind of right. Shoulders don't twist, don't do anything, so you know, any weird shit. So okay, so this has been my take on rigging, explanations, and skin modifier. I hope it has been explained, and see you next time. Bye.